I welcome Ms. Rupal Sinha, Global President, BVG India. Round of applause as she steps further. She's known to be a team player and somebody who looks after her workforce. No wonder then she's a part of the industry. A round of applause for her.
Good afternoon. I think I'm not getting a warm welcome at all. How will I conduct the session? Let's get that. Let's get the warmth. We have a lunch forward, and lots have been spoken about the ESG since morning. And what I would do is touch a little different shade of ESG and then try to do justice. It's a big topic. A day can be consumed in talking about it. So it's a vital topic, and it's a subject that is not only confined to the boardroom or the maintenance closets. A lot needs to be governed. We heard about Ashish talking about the pitch book, what our pitch book should be to take it to the customer. But if you see an overall ecosystem, the governance, the regulations, and the UN goals adopted by the country, translated further to the companies, to the boardrooms, and from there down to the procurement, and then us as the FM players. I think that's the ecosystem which needs to be driven. That's the ecosystem which will drive the change, and the change is coming. We'll see that. If we how do you have to point it out? Now it's not working. No, it's not working. So while the technology is taking its time, I think we should not wait. So after post-COVID, I think the office space definitely shrinked a little bit because we all saw that in a hybrid model. Many have come back, but what it did was to make the adjustment. The adjustment came where the office perhaps might have shrinked, but the space has been taken over by certain other businesses. The logistics have expanded, the warehouses have expanded, healthcare, many units have come up. So offices perhaps might have had taken a little bit of a backseat in terms of return, but the spaces have really gone up. The total building stock, as you can see, will grow up by 124 billion square feet by 2030. Cumulatively, that means that the global investments in energy efficiency retrofits are going to cost roughly around $959 billion by 20. These are hard statistics, and these are the opportunity which we must capture. These are if you can see some of the more statistics, by 2030, the floor space forecasted, and these are latest statistics, for commercial building sectors in India is going to go up by 1,900 million square meters, which is definitely a good sign for us. Perhaps it may not be an office space, but it will be either under construction, built, operated, in construction phase, whether offices, not offices, but there will be commercial spaces. When there are commercial spaces, of course, these four key challenges of any built-in environment are important. And I'm not going to touch more on built-in environment because I think in the pre-noon session, there's a lot spoken about on the built-ins. But we'll touch very briefly on the built-ins, and then we'll go the FM role and the global stage of FM companies on built-outs. What are these built-ins and built-outs? Of course, in sustainability, we see that 40% of the emission comes from building. We all have heard that from the morning sessions. All the changes, constructions, the mega projects, the forestations coming down, that are really causing the resilience are getting affected. If you see, it's an alarming statistics that from 1960 to 2019, the disasters have gone up by 10 times, And what it requires is a very focused approach on saving the planet, Mother Nature, built-in environments and built-out environments, which are smart cities and then smart country level. How do we do that? We saw these statistics that out of the total, the energy, 30% of the world energy, 30% is conserved by the energy, 40% it emits global greenhouse emissions. And still there are reliance on non-renewable energy that needs to change. And we'll see, there have been green shoots. There definitely have been green shoots where we see a change coming from non-renewable to renewable side. And where are these happening? We'll see that, and definitely in India it's happening. So building tomorrow is aiming at 60% reduction on carbon emission by 2040, at least 40% green renewable electricity, and we influence the decarbonization in the industry. This is a slide which I think every FM player and every FM leader would know. This is our responsibility, and our roles have evolved in the built-ins where these issues related to sustainability and the entire gamut of services or the protection of the entire facility by a facility manager needs to run it over a IoT platform that is a connected device, connected applications with I don't know how many devices. All devices, right from your laptops, from your iPhones, phones, any type of phones, iPads, computers, and then majority of your devices, which could be related to your HVAC maintenance, which could be related to solar, which could be related to space management. All these are connected today, which definitely raises one big concern. How is data being looked upon by the FM companies or for their own customers also? Not a place to talk about from what we do, but we are we have a very sound department on cybersecurity. Of course, we had an earlier speaker speaking about that, because data needs to be profound, data needs to be protected, and data needs to make sure that these data are maintained in most predictive and preventive maintenance of these data as well. And of course, these data are important because you take these days, your decision makings have gone up on the data. Two good things which are happening around us. We are digitizing. We are in terms of digitization, we have gone 10x on the data. We have got electrification. There are very ambitious projects happening on making in India on the EV buses. The green transportation is a big initiative that is happening. Solar is another where public policies, government policies are also supporting, and companies are coming forward in making these initiatives. What these AI and IoTs are doing, and where the scope of BMS that is getting, and the depth of integration which is bringing, it's definitely putting a pressure. It's definitely putting a pressure on an efficient, sustainable, capable of meeting the changing requirements of all our clients. Today, each client is different, each building is different, each customer is coming for a very different dashboard that it needs. As companies, as FM companies, we need to be agile to these technology developments, these technology changes, if we have to really work on if we really have to cope up with our, changing needs of our clients. What we take it to become a sustainable, building. Of course, they are divided into 4 different quadrants. It's very difficult to cover all, but I've tried to do it into 4 different quadrants, where energy efficiency, which comes from solar, alternate energies, you do it on a storage basis, you store solar energy, or it's an online, it's a real time for you. That these are the you pay attention on the smart technology to then monitor these energy efficiency, water conservation, water recycling, storm water, preservation of storm water, enhance indoor air quality. It has a direct impact, which we will talk in the next slide, on people behavior in the organization, how it impacts, and then of course your supply chain, or you become the supply chain for your client, needs to follow some of the ESG goals. If you see a very interesting statistics which came to us, that when these environments are given a greener feel, and ESG norms are being followed, how it increases the productivity. We saw that an AC temperature of 20 to 25, mind you, this is real statistics, right? And if you are typing on your iPad or on your laptops, it increases your productivity, or the typo errors come down by 44%. The stress levels in a nice air environment, it reduces your stress level, the sleep quality goes up, and while you deliver a productive and quality at your workplace as well. Poor ventilation, I think we've talked, I'm sure in the sessions going forward, we'll be talking about PM 2.5 level of indoor air quality to be maintained to give a well-being of the occupants, to ensure that the CO2s are well balanced. I'm not going to touch on that because there's a full session on that. And these nice buildings, we heard a session before, attracts people attracts talent to our organizations. Of course, building gets saved from astronomical energy bills that we pay, and return on investment. I think in the SEBI, listed companies, your ESG calculations or ESG reports needs to be driven and needs to be presented. That drives the organization towards ESG goals. So all listed companies have mandatorily required to present their norms. Now, we spoke about built-ins, what we do about the built-outs, right? And I'm talking about an ecosystem beyond a facility, an ecosystem which is governed by SDG 11 goal, which talks about rising population, rising slum, shrinking public places, less conservation of water, depleting water lines, fresh waters going bad. Some of the alarming statistics, if you can see, is that the urban India generates almost 62 million tons of municipal waste each year, out of which only 70% get collected. So what happens to and 20% of that gets treated, what happens to the balance? It goes to the dumping sites, landfills. And what do these landfills then do? A clear case where you see a lot of cases of slum areas or people getting sick, people getting diseased. Why these happens? Because nobody is attending towards or the emphasis of very few FM players in the world are attending or giving emphasis on attacking these problems. We do have some companies who do that, which are some of the statistics I will not go through. And hence, therefore, if you see that if the wastes are not attacked and if the wastes are not treated well, what havoc they create to the human health. And therefore, if you see here that we say that 42% of household wastewater is not treated properly, which definitely affects the human ecosystem. Water bodies assessed in 89 countries definitely have a good ambient water quality. But 52 of those countries do not have any information about what groundwater, what fresh level of waters are there. So the absence of data makes very difficult for any country or for any organization at the state level to decide what measures need to be given to attend to these problems so that the health risks are reduced. We talk about in the built-outs the four the pillars, which as FM companies also is a big opportunity for us. Waste management is one. We'll see how companies are attending the waste management. Green transport, we'll speak about that in a second when we finish on the waste management. EV buses, We are in a situation as country where demand is more than supply. India is screaming today for demand of EV buses, right? The supply is like Leyland, Tata's, Switch Mobility, some of the Chinese companies all put together. They still have not been able to meet the demand. And the goal set for EV is humongous. If you see, we'll talk about that in a moment. But before that, very quickly, a sneak peek on the solid waste management operations that facility management company does. A pitch book and definitely an area of operation and opportunity for each one of us. Have a look. I hope it plays. Thank you. So as I said, opportunity is immense. We join hands with various NGOs, we join hands with various private players, and we join hands with government to implement. Waste is huge. As you can see, what devastation it creates, and it needs to be attended on war footing. Again, as I said, that the EV and the green transportation is a big, massive move of the government on sustainability. The statistics are all there, and as at BVG, we run almost 1,800 buses, full depot maintenance, which includes health, hygiene, operations, drivers, maintenance, everything. An opportunity which we serve with many EV players, private players, which is a goal of not only the companies but also the country as well. So that's important. Another one, of course, on the renewable and energy, a very steep goal at India level, where currently we are definitely a third largest consuming country. With only currently we are at 180 gigawatts installed capacity, of which waste to energy only contributes 0.55 gigawatt. Now, big opportunity there for the companies to partner with the right stakeholders and implement it. We have an ambition to take it to 500 gigawatt by 2030. We are what? We are already at 2023. Lastly, landscaping. We do landscaping in built-ins. We do landscaping. We take a step little forward, right? And help achieve. These are the goals of many companies, private companies who come together, who are scouting for companies, asking them to support, where they can buy these carbon credits. They can buy the credits from us, where we partner with them to put, control mudslide or soil erosion by planting trees like bamboos, pines, willows. There are plenty of those to prevent landscaping. As of course on the built-in side and on the compound side, we already do roughly around 55 million trees we have planted. But this is an initiative, and this is what we intend taking forward, not only contributing and partnering with our company stakeholders, corporate stakeholders, but also working in close association with international agencies who are driving these SDG goals and supporting them in it. A very quick, I'll end this session with a small case study, and which we want to show how a contamination of lake it's 108 acres of lake fully contaminated, which caused so many deaths of young kids in Gujarat, Dahod. How we worked to convert, or any FM companies can. This is an opportunity to convert them into a beautiful lake and landscaping. Over to you. Thank you very much. So, as I said, that opportunity we have to write. We have to rewrite our pitch book, as Ashish also mentioned, and a couple of other sessions I read. So, let's focus within built-ins, and let's join hands with a couple of stakeholders in built-outs to save the Mother Nature. And thank you very much for a patient hearing. I have been told that the questions I have to attend in the lunch break. More than delighted. Any questions, any clarification you need, we are more than there to answer. But thank you so much for a patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Sinha.